Hey, I'm Andy Hateley. I drive this orange E30 back here, powered by a LS3 engine and a Tex racing transmission, 4-speed. It's a very fun car, and I love it. Driving Formula Drift all over the US, and I like waffles.
Hello, I'm Andy Hateley. Andy Hateley. Andy Hateley. Andy Hateley. Andy Hateley. Andy Hateley. Hello.
I don't know who you are.
What the hell do you want?
I don't know what you want.
I want balls.
If you let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it.
I never see the guy really, except on the track. I think he only gets up to drift, and the rest of the time he spends sleeping, drinking Red Bull and Gatorade. That's about it. Yeah.
What's up? This is Andy Hateley, and I'm going to take you through my E30 here. Show you all the good stuff that makes it run right. Okay. Let's see what we got.
Florida was a good one. It was the first time we had a lot of track time in the car because the first Pro 2 event, so we had multiple practice sessions and just a little bit more driving time. Finally got to do a little bit of tandem in the car. Also made some adjustments to the suspension that were very helpful. I was noticing on the course that it just wasn't very stable after the first corner and switching back into the second corner. Did some thinking about it, and I know E30s, when you get on the brakes or you lift up the throttle, the rear end hikes up and they like to oversteer, which is very fun with an underpowered car, stock E30. So I ended up asking my crew chief, Omid, to up the rear rebound on the suspension, and moved into the Pro 2 top 16. We were matched up against Nate Hamilton. Got a chance to do some practice with him, and that's when I really realized how slow my car was off the line, and he was definitely pulling on me down the straightaway, down the first corner, and we definitely had some good side bite. I was able to catch him and catch other cars pretty easily through the tighter section of the course, but off the line I was definitely feeling like I was getting ditched. And went into the top 16 competition on the first runs. Both of our runs were pretty decent. We didn't make neither me or Nate made any major mistakes. They weren't anything crazy or impressive runs, but we stayed close and kept the proximity as close as we felt comfortable with. And they called one more time on it. We went one more time, and Nate had about 2 car lengths on me, and I switched to the follow position, or actually no, when I was leading, I didn't notice this, I forgot about this, but I didn't notice from inside the car because I was so, in the moment, that I actually straightened out for a split second coming around the first corner into the second corner. It's basically one big long corner, but coming around the long section into the tight section. And it felt like I was just coming in and holding angle and e-braking right there. I was bringing the car almost straight and then e-braking to get through the section because you had a lot of power to hold that really long corner. And it was a really tricky line through there. And ended up straightening out for a split second. I didn't think I did until I watched the replay, and then I totally noticed that I had a blatant mistake there. So I was mad at the judges for a second, but I forgave them. And so I straightened out when I was leading, and then following, I believe I followed a little bit closer than he did, and he was following me. And so I thought myself, I was like, oh, I got this, you know, and they called Nate, and I was like, oh, that's weird, you know, whatever. And saw the replay, saw myself straighten out, and realized that's you know, blatant zero right there, pretty much, you know. And that was that for Pro 2. And for Pro 1, qualifying there, I forget how the runs were. Don't believe I was happy with everyone's either. I may have straightened out on one of them, I'm not sure, but the scores were not high enough for top 32. I don't remember quite where we qualified there, though. It wasn't really low or really, you know, close or anything like that, but we did okay.
Speak.
Round 6, Texas. We didn't have any actually issues getting there for once. We had just put drive shaft shop axles in the car, and they had barely gotten there in time, so I put it all together, and it was on the weekend, and the axles had some binding issues with the hub. The car wouldn't roll when I installed them, even though they were installed properly. So I had to machine a washer down and put it in between the axle and the bearing. I did machine it down to the exact size of the inner bearing race, so it would space the axle back a little bit and actually allow the car to roll. And everything seemed fine. We loaded the car in the trailer, didn't have time to do any testing. Took off to Texas, and on track in Texas, I noticed in our first practice sessions that my brake pedal would take a good pump to maintain decent pressure, and the same thing was happening with the e-brake. So I was figuring I had a problem with my brakes for some reason, even though I hadn't touched them. And took off, did a few practice runs, just sort of dealt with the problem. Went back to the pits to fix it after the practice sessions. I knew if we went back to fix, I wasn't going to get any more laps, so I actually dealt with it on a few laps. And took the wheel off and immediately noticed that the hub had a lot of play in it. So the washer, the idea that I had, just wasn't working properly. So we had to go back to using the stock axles, which I had brought as spares. So we put the stock axles back in. Didn't have much practice time after that, and we did maybe, I want to say under 5 laps, and the coming down the straightaway, the pinion gear sheared about half of the gears off and destroyed the diff, and so really loud, and it sounded like, you know, catastrophic transmission failure or something like that because of the transmission tunnel, the holes right there. All the sound that happens from the rear end carries up through that hole, so I was almost convinced that we'd blown the transmission. Got towed back to the pits, realized that the diff was destroyed, and moved on. We didn't have a spare diff, so that was pretty much the end of the event right there, and that was right before Pro 2 qualifying is when that happened. And that was unfortunately the end of our event in Texas, and that was our third mechanical failure. in a row, which was very disappointing. And but you know, what can you really do? It's part of racing, part of figuring out what's going to break.